What's good, guys? We're back at it again with another video. As you can see from the title, today we're going to be talking about something that I made a video on a little bit over a year ago, and that was life after college sports. This one is going to be a little bit of an updated version. Recently, I took a couple clips from that old video and I posted it on TikTok. Go follow me if you don't already, B_Thomas30. Also, shout out to my TikTok followers. We just hit 10K, but I posted it on TikTok and obviously it went a little viral, but just the reception that I was getting in the comments in terms of people saying, oh, welcome to the real world, and oh, I don't understand. Like, it really just let me know that there really is a disconnect between, the student athlete, the athlete population, and the regular population in terms of how hard it actually is to make that transition into real life. And that reaction also let me know that, okay, there probably are people in the NCAA who feel the same way, which is why I've said before, I don't feel like the help that they give you in terms of making that transition a little bit easier is where it should be, especially for the hours that you put into your sport. Let's talk about it. I actually want to read some of these comments. First one says, so you didn't actually grow as an adult in 4 years going through college. It never dawned on you that you'd eventually have to take care of yourself. We got a person that says, so basically you have to live like a normal adult now, like everyone else. As a college athlete, why are you not thinking about what's next? Coach always tell everybody not all of you gonna make it. What you thought they was gonna do, hold y'all hands for the rest of your lives? What did you expect? Not everyone can go pro. That's why you chose a major that's beneficial and realistic. I actually want to address all of those statements because when I first made the video, I had just started on YouTube, so I'm not sure if I did a great job fully articulating exactly what student athletes go through. So let's just talk about it again. Hopefully it's a little easier to understand. So when people say, oh, coaches tell you all the time that, oh, not everyone's going to make it, and oh, you should have been understanding at a certain point that you got to start planning for your future and this and that. I said it in the last video. For players who make it to college, for players who are collegiate athletes, right? That means that for a majority of their childhood, what were they doing? They were playing their sport. They were focusing on their sport so that they can achieve their dream of getting to college. Along that way, you are going to get a lot of people in your ear when you start to have some certain amount of success telling you that, oh, yeah, you're going to go this far, you're going to do this, do that. Now, that's not to say that, it still isn't your responsibility to understand that, okay, the ball will stop bouncing one day. But when you have people all around you, including your coaches, telling you to focus on your sport and that your sport needs to be the main thing in your life when you're trying to be successful. They literally tell you, because I remember when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, if you want to get to college, if you want to be a collegiate athlete, you have to have a certain level of intensity, a level of discipline about you. It pretty much has to be one of the main things you do in your life because what are the statistics? At least in basketball, 500,000 graduate every single year, high school basketball players. 9,000 of that play college basketball at all. D1, D2, D3, whatever you want, and 1% of that 500,000 actually play at the Division I level. So if you want to beat those numbers, there's no way you can be half in, half out. Oh, I'm doing this, and that on the side, but I'm also going to be doing my sport on the side. That's not realistic. That's not how it works. And that's what people don't understand is the type of focus and time and effort that you had to put in to get there didn't really allow you to focus on other things. You get to college and guess what you realize? It's a business, and most college athletes will tell you in terms of hours focused to your sport, whether that be on-court instruction, off-court instruction. Maybe you have to do this, you have this responsibility for the team. In terms of hour per hour, you work more hours than a person who works a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. You work more than that consistently. And I had this argument with my dad. He was trying to tell me, yeah, y'all do that, but it's the mental fatigue of, sitting at a desk at 9 to 5. And I tried to tell him, like, yeah, I understand that, but what we have to deal with is mental fatigue, physical fatigue, emotional fatigue, all of that while also being expected to perform at an extremely high level. So where am I going to find the time to, I need to plan this for when I'm done? No, if I want to be successful in my sport, guess what? I got to be 100% locked in, especially if I want to stay there. And that's another thing that's different from having a job, right? When you get a job, let's say you're working somewhere for a year. Let's say you're working somewhere for 1 calendar year. You're the best employee. We'll consider you a starter at your job. You don't have someone trying to apply for your specific position, waiting, and also working, doing things behind the scene to come and take your spot. You don't have to worry about that. There might be a younger employee who comes into the company and, makes a lot of waves, and eventually he might get a promotion, but there isn't anything that's like, I'm going to apply for your specific job while you're still working it and try and beat you out at it. There's nothing like that. In college, guess what? If I want to focus on this off the court, I want to focus on what's afterwards, guess what? The 4-star freshman that's behind me is going to take my spot. Then guess what? then I'm gonna lose my scholarship and I'm really out of luck. So if I want to keep my scholarship, it would make sense to only put 100% focus into your sport, right? This is what people don't really understand. There are also a lot of people saying, oh, this is what everyone had to deal with when they left, being a high school athlete to become a college freshman and not play a sport. And I'm not here to negate those feelings, because I'm pretty sure it was the same thing when you graduate high school and you get to college and you're no longer an athlete, you don't have that identity. You're still struggling with that. But I want you guys to think about the feeling that you felt when you left high school athletics and you got to college and you had to figure it out. Now imagine for a college athlete, right? For a college athlete, I'm really trying to paint the picture because it's hard for people to understand if you never did it. College athlete, like I said, for your entire life, you were given 100% to your sport in order to get to college athletics. You get there, it's a business. It's a business. You have to fight for your spot day in and day out. It isn't like high school. It's nowhere close to high school. I get a lot of comments trying to compare high school athletics and college athletics. I'm telling you right now, there is no comparison at all, like none at all. In high school, it's not as serious. When you have coach telling you what to do is, hey, we got practice at 2 p.m. Hey, be outside at the bus at this time so we can travel to our away game. When you get to college, for college athletes, if you guys don't believe me, check out my D1 basketball schedule video on the channel. You have an hour by hour schedule of where to be, what you should be doing, all of that, hour by hour, every single day for 4 years. Every single day for 4 years. I'm just saying that it's extremely easy for a college athlete to get used to that schedule, to get used to that bubble, to get used to someone telling you where to be, what you should be doing all the time. Even when it comes to academics, you have an academic advisor plan out your schedule, tell you when you need to be here, when you have study hall. Everything is taken care of and everything is planned for you. And to be completely honest, the setup how it is now can be detrimental to a lot of athletes because you get used to it. So like I say, hopefully that lets people understand when you leave that bubble, all of a sudden you have no idea what to do. And again, I'm not here to say, whoa, it's all athletes. You received a scholarship, you were in such a bad situation. I'm not here to say that at all. But people need to have a better understanding of why athletes struggle so much once they try and make that transition. I just feel like the NCAA doesn't do a good job of adequately preparing you for real life, because you're handicapping a lot of athletes by telling them what to do, where to be, this, and that. But all of a sudden, when their career is over, there's no more GroupMe messages. Your coach is not checking on you. There's nothing when you just gave 40, 45 plus hours into your sport for 4 years. Helping the NCAA come with a product that they can televise, bring in revenue, all types of things, and there's no help on the back end after my career is over. First, we address those outside questions or statements that people were making. Now I just want to speak to the athletes, right? As an athlete, as a college athlete, or even as an athlete that's not to college yet, I know it's extremely hard to do this because to even get to college, you had to have a certain level of focus, intensity throughout your entire childhood to even get there. If you know the percentages, and I know you got a lot of yes men in your ear telling you you're the best thing ever, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, like you're gonna go pro, you're gonna make all this money. But from an early age, I suggest you start to find out who you are outside of your sport. Because if you don't, it won't only hurt you, after your career is over. It'll hurt you while you're playing because you'll have a bad game. I had these situations. I'd have a bad game and I just want to go sit in my room and do nothing in the dark for hours. Why? Because my self-esteem was tied into how I performed on the court, which is a problem that a lot of athletes deal with. And it only gets worse once you don't have that sport anymore. And you have to figure out who you are as a person when you're already a grown adult. So start to try different hobbies. Start to try different things in school. See what you really like and see what you can make a career of outside of your sport. Because I'm here to tell you now, nobody is going to help you. Once you finish college, the NCAA is not going to help you. All those coaches who said they got your back, that you're a family, they're not going to reach out to you and, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I know this person. No one is going to help you at all. No one. So it's really going to be up to you until the NCAA changes something. It's going to be up to you to start to figure out your plan early on. When you do get to college and you're in that process of picking a degree, make sure you pick a degree that you like and it's in a field that you will be willing to pursue once your sport is over, because there are so many players who get a integrated studies degree or, something like that doesn't specialize you in anything. And sometimes you'll have coaches that will say, oh yeah, just take this, it's really easy. You won't really have to do too much. You can just focus on hooping. There are coaches that will say that, because they are focused on getting wins, not, of course, what happens for that player outside of college. So when you pick that major, make sure you're picking something that you would be willing to pursue outside of your sport. Do not waste your time in college and just get a random degree, because when you're trying to get a job, you're no longer just going up against those 500,000 high school basketball players. You're going up against, I don't know how many people across the entire country who are also applying for those same jobs. Keep that in mind early. Start to build these connections when you're in college or even before college. Every time you meet someone, you should be extremely cordial and nice because you don't know who knows who. One thing I realized, here's a secret to all current athletes, maybe you're about to graduate, whatever. Relationships go a long way because in the real world, who you know, I'm going to be completely honest, can get you an opportunity that you might not have been able to get if you didn't know that person, if you didn't have some type of connection with them. So every person you meet, whether it's a booster on campus, whether it's someone in the ticket booth, whoever, make sure you're making connections with everyone because you never know who can help you on the back end. Also talked about this in the last video, and part of the reason why I'm harping so much on finding your identity outside of your sport is those accolades, whatever you did on the court, on the field, whatever, employers do not care about it unless you have a booster in that company or someone who just knew you, who saw you play. I promise you, they do not care. I said it before. I had my resume looked at by a professional and I'm thinking, oh, it says, I was a D1 basketball player. Said I managed a 40-hour practice week plus, a full-time course load, and I did this, and that. Teamwork, being able to take instruction, all the things that went into playing my sport. Said it before, I got it back. They took all that out because athletics do not matter in the world of business. They don't tell you that. They'd like you to think that playing in college directly translates to success on the outside. It doesn't. But let me tell you guys what it does do. When I was sitting in my dorm room a little bit over a year ago, and I'm sitting there, my career is over, I didn't know what to do, I didn't have any direction with my life, I just thought about, wait a second, you just completed something that a majority of the population would never do, could never do, can never even fathom doing if they really knew what really went on in college sports. Couldn't do it all. And what it does do is it makes you resilient, right? If you were able to get on the line, on the court or on the field, whatever, and do the conditioning and do this and that, and, deal with the pressures of playing a college sport, I'll tell you this, you're strong enough to face the real world. You really are. It's only going to be about, using that same focus that you put towards your sport and translating that into, what do I want to pursue now in terms of a career? Use that same focus, that same vigor, that same grit that got you to that position. Use that to get you to your next spot. Because I promise you, any person who completed 4 whole years of playing at the collegiate level, you different. Like, I promise you, different. I know what it is. A lot of people don't understand unless they actually went through it, but you're different. And you're different. It's literally only going to be about making that plan early. If you are still playing right now, start to put that plan in motion. Start to make these connections. Even if you're done playing, just trust in the fact that, I put in all that work to get to that level. I stayed, I competed, I put in work every single day. Like I said, 40, 45 plus weeks, plus handling school at the same time. So guess what? When you step into that real world, have that same confidence, have that same competitive edge. I promise you, if you keep that, you will be successful. Like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I appreciate you guys watching. Remember, if you want the one-on-one evaluations with the breakdowns, go on the channel. Hit my website in the description. Also, if you have any questions for me or need any advice about transitioning after college, about AAU, about anything basketball, remember, hit my link for Noodle in the description as well. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys next time for the next video.